fans. We will be live in 30 seconds.
This is how it's gonna be. This is what you think of me. It's going down like I told you. This is how it's gonna be. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm not going anywhere. It's going down like I told you. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'm gonna rock you. I'll have you begging for mercy, begging for mercy. Oh, I'm dangerous. So dangerous.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this podcast live from. My name is Dave. To my left/right is Chris Thedick. We are Combat Misfits, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are going to be breaking down action from UFC 272 last night, as well as all rumors, fights going on in the current MMA landscape. Chris, how are you doing this Sunday morning?
Exhausted, man. I didn't get home until 2 a.m. Probably 5 hours of sleep. Got up at 7. It's gonna be a long day.
It's going to be a long day. See, these fight cards, man, I love them, but boy, do they go late, at least in the East Coast, you know. The West Coast has the better edge, you know.
Oh, yeah, they definitely have the better draw because they're like 3 hours behind us, man. Like, shit. Us, man, we have to stay up late for these fights. Especially when you're getting older, man. It's a little tougher to stay up that late to watch all the fights. So that's why we do the show. Like, you do a post show for all the people that might have missed it last night, can't catch it, whatever, and want to hear people talk about it. Here we are.
So we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitch. You can go follow us on TikTok. You can go follow us on our Combat Misfits Facebook page. Go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Support us so that we can keep getting more and more better with this podcasting experience. So UFC 272, you know, last night, no title on the line, you know, no significance with either of these fights, pretty much. Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. What's your thoughts, Chris?
What a fight. Like, honestly, like, I think it was a good fight. It was exactly what I thought it would be. Kobe knew how to beat Jorge. He knew he can out-wrestle him any day of the week, and it showed. He out-wrestled him for 5 rounds. He didn't stand and bang with him because he knows that's Jorge's wheelhouse. And he put the pressure on Jorge, put him against the cage against his back all fight, and did whatever he wanted to him. That's exactly what that was about. Like, I showed no sense of urgency from Jorge at all. Even though he rocked Kobe in I think it was the 3rd or 4th round, he didn't show no urgency of attacking that. He just stayed placing. And Kobe took advantage of that. He just got his footing back and took him back down and beat him on the ground. That's all he did.
I agree. I mean, Colby Covington went in, you know, was that the game plan from the initial, you know, start of the fight? Was he planning on taking him down? You know, in my thoughts, he basically did what he was going to do. He was going to grind out a victory. I thought he was going to take him down and basically lay on him for 25 minutes. I was wrong. I mean, he actually did put some striking in. He did strike with him a little bit. Now, he knew. See, Covington is a really smart dude, man, when it comes to fighting. Like, he knows when to gauge, you know, the wrestling compared to the striking. So he stood with him for a little bit. When he sensed it was going into a danger zone, he immediately switched his whole game plan, took Jorge to the ground, and did what he had to do. I mean, I think like there was a few, I guess you would call them submission attempts, from
Yeah,
Colby.
he tried. He
But
tried, yeah.
but I think deep down, like, it wasn't something that he was going to try and submit Jorge. I think it was more to keep Jorge thinking, what's he going to do next? Is he going to try and submit me? How do I get out of this position?
Well, he was just trying to put his arm underneath his neck, like a lot, or onto his chin and squeeze as much as he can. But he knows he couldn't do it to Jorge because Jorge would probably go out on a shield. He'll just drain your arm strength. Your arms will be tired and take advantage of that. Kobe did it strategically, almost perfect. That's my thinking because like he has so much energy left. He could have went another round or two. Jorge, I don't think he could have done another round. He was gasping. He was exhausted. I think that the whole plan was to lay on him, keep maneuvering on him when he's wrestling to tire out Jorge. And Jorge was exhausted. Dude, I cannot express that enough. He was exhausted. People are like, oh, he could have fought another one. That's his heart playing. His heart was keeping him in the fight. He's like, all right, I got this. I could go another round or two. I don't think he could have went another round.
Now, before the fight started, you're commenting to me about the fact that, like, Covington looked different coming to the octagon.
He did look different.
So,
I
like,
think what it was is that he was probably more focused. And I was wrong. I thought he didn't look right. I was like, oh, Kobe does not look the same. He does not look great. But on the contrary, he was perfect. He looked incredible last night. And I can't say anything more about that. Like, he was perfect. Like, the stamina was there. The energy was there. He struck. He threw, like, maybe 3 or 4 punches, like, combo, and then he'll go for a takedown. And Jorge's just like, shit. I got to defend this takedown, which I'm not good at right now. Kobe just had a perfect game. It was an A++ game on his end, and he just beat him.
So we kind of mentioned this on Wednesday's podcast, the fact that, obviously Colby Covington was the better wrestler. Jorge was the better striker. If it was going to go to the ground, it was obviously going to be Covington's advantage. However, I think that was the game plan all along. When he was coming out to the octagon, his whole game plan was, I'm going to take this fight to the ground, and I'm going to play with him and make sure he's constantly thinking about what my next move will be. It was very strategic, and I thought, with this being bad blood, I thought they were going to come out, throw hands, and be, I thought this was going to be a very violent fight,
I did too. But like we said before, is like they're training partners. And Jorge learned how to wrestle through Kobe. And Kobe's like, I taught you wrestling. I know everything you're going to try to do if you try to wrestle me. I know everything to do to you to beat you in wrestling because I taught you everything I knew. It was like the master versus the student almost in wrestling. And the master will always beat the student. And he out-wrestled Jorge by a mile.
So I'm hearing a lot, right, about the potential that Jorge Masvidal won one of those rounds. I mean, it's hard to think of that because, I mean, it was very dominant in Colby Covington's,
Maybe round 2. No, I think that could have been the closest Jorge's had.
Because that's when
Covington. 3 and 4 no.
That's when Covington cut him. He was landing a lot more offense in that second round, and that's when he caught him with a sharp elbow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was very, phenomenal. I mean, it was very interesting that Masvidal came out and tried that flying knee, though. I mean, let's be real. Like he was going to try that, like he was going to land that against a more, aware opponent, as in Covington. I mean, he ain't falling for no Ben Askren trick. Like Ben Askren fell for that trick. It was a very interesting fight. Colby Covington played his game. He got the victory. I mean, after the fight, he calls out Dustin Poirier. What are your thoughts about that, Chris?
I love it. I hope they set it up. But Dustin said publicly he will never fight Kobe in the octagon. It just won't happen. So I don't care how much money you give me. I don't want it. We're not going to fight. So that puts a damper on things. Like, hopefully money does get shown to Dustin and say, hey, we're going to give you this much, and Dustin changes his mind. But I think Kobe's taking it to an extent where he's talking about his family, his kids and stuff. When you start talking about kids, that's rough. In my opinion, I know it's a fight game. Anything happens, talk about whatever. But when you talk about kids, it's a little pushing it too far. So it's hard to say, man. I just don't think it – I want it to happen, but I don't know. It depends how Dustin is. And Dustin's like pretty much like a man of his word. If he's telling you he's not going to fight him, he's not fighting him.
I think it's an interesting fight because, like, where does Dustin Poirier stand in the lightweight division right now? I don't know. He's lost to Charles Oliveira. I think he's in his mid-30s. I mean, he's something like that. He's definitely.
He's a young cat. He's like 33, 32, I think. I think he's a young guy.
I think he could definitely get up into that weight division, into the – well, I think it would be even a better catchweight fight. Like, let's be real. They could, do a catchweight fight. Things have gotten personal. He is saying that, Dustin Poirier's kid is not his. Like,
that's rough, man. That's rough.
When you bring, like you said, when you bring kids into the whole conversation, and wives and everything, and it starts to get really personal. Now, Dustin,
for sure.
Dustin Poirier is a smart man, and like you said, he may not take this fight, but I think stylistically it would be a good fight. Theoretically, Chris, who do you think could possibly, get that victory?
Out of them two?
Yeah, out of Colby Covington and Dustin Poirier.
I think Kobe's just more well-rounded. I do. I think he's well-rounded. Dustin, he has a great stand-up. I think it's improved by a long shot. Like, he has a great boxing now. But him against Kobe, I think Kobe might take it to Dustin. I think he'll smash Dustin.
See, it's an interesting fight. I mean, because it's obvious. Like we talked about on Wednesday. Like, does Covington a fourth title or a third title shot against Usman? Like, does he deserve?
Well, I think Kobe's, like you said, like Kobe's taking the right necessary knees, is winning his right back to it. He called out Dustin. He didn't call out Usman. He called out Dustin. Yeah. If he beats Dustin, it's kind of hard to deny him again. It'll be almost impossible for him to deny it again.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a big victory for him to beat Dustin Poirier. Like I said time and time again, I think as long as Kamaru Usman's in the picture, the champion, I think these guys will always be, just right below him. I don't think Colby Covington definitely has had the closer of the fights between Usman. Mm-hmm. I think when they fought, right, I don't think Colby Covington was able to get many takedowns, if I believe. I mean, I don't think his wrestling game's going to work against,
Usman.
Yeah, I don't think Usman's takedown defense is just very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think maybe Colby Covington took him down maybe a few times. I mean, but
Yeah. But the
or
last like 2 times they fought, Usman's been very dominant over Kobe.
yeah,
He's been pretty dominant. The one fight was kind of close, but yeah, no. Kobe needs a lot of work to keep up with Usman. But like I said, I think Kobe is the best shot to beat Usman because he's more well-rounded. I don't think anybody in the welterweight division can beat Usman except for maybe Kobe. And he's struggling trying to beat Usman, so I don't know what's going on.
yeah. I don't. Usman's just too dominant, and it's right for Covington to be calling out. Somebody like Dustin Poirier, like let him get back to the possible title picture if he wants. I mean, it's just like there's so much dominance in the welterweight division. It's hard. I think, in my opinion, Colby Covington will always rank number two. Right below Usman. I think he'll always be
Yeah.
right there. I think he'll always be right there. But unfortunately, I don't think he'll ever be as good enough to beat Usman. And
It's
that's
hard to say good enough, though. It's hard because if Kobe really studies Usman's like footwork and his past recent fights with him, figure out your mistakes, correct your mistakes. You could beat him. You have a good shot. You rock him. You hit him more than anybody in the welterweight division. Like you have a good chance on beating him. It's just like you just gotta put your preparation in ready for him. It's kind of hard to say that he don't have a chance.
I don't see it. Only because, like, yes, his striking's good. Yes, his wrestling's good. Usman gets better every fight, man. And
Yeah, he does.
Usman is now to the point where he's trying to finish fights. I mean, obviously he
Mm-hmm.
didn't have Covington, but Jorge starched him,
Yeah.
completely. I mean, he's just been so dominant that, I mean, and I know you're gonna hate me when I bring this up, but Hamzat Shemaev, man,
Oh
I
God.
know. Listen, I know he hasn't fought any tough competition. He's ragdolling dudes in training, in his camp, in his gym. He is ragdolling dudes that are way bigger than him, ragdolling heavyweights, like he is a freaking problem, a
Yeah.
potential.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same thing with that one loser, Smith, who came out to fight DC because he beat his ass every day of the week in training. And what happened? DC starched him in the
yeah,
first round. Come on. What are we saying here?
well, I get Anthony. I get what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think, I think Shemaev. Look, we're gonna have to find out because, like I said, Hamzat Shemaev has a fight with a number 2 ranked Gilbert Burns right now. Coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and if
Now
he
we'll see if he's good or not. Because what happens if Shemaev gets blown out in the first round?
hype
What
train
do we
gone,
say? What do
hype
we
train,
say?
hype train gone. That's
He ain't as good as we thought, right? He's
yeah,
not as good as we thought.
yeah.
Right. That's terrible. That is such a big risk for Chimaev. Chimaev should just stay on his hype train, work his way up. Why do you want to get a title shot so fast? You fought nobody relevant except for Gilbert Burns in a couple months. You lose to him, your career is almost shot. He cannot lose. If he loses to Gilbert Burns, your career just got shot. Yeah,
Agreed.
he could work. He could work his way back up and then redeem himself. Totally get that. I'm not misunderstanding that. What I'm saying is, if he gets this shot at Gilbert Burns and loses, his hype train just got plummet. So he would have to work his way back up, and it might take longer to get a title shot. If he wins, then his hype train continues, and he will get a title shot. It's just that what if scenario. Like it's such a high risk and high reward option here for him. He just can't lose, or his hype train gets derailed by a mile.
Okay, so with this fight with him getting a number 2 ranked opponent, okay, say he starches Gilbert Burns. What's your thoughts on him then? How close is he to a title shot?
He would have to get a title shot after that. He would have to. I'll say that. He would have to. If you derail a number 2 ranked fighter and you like maul him like Khabib and like how he has been doing, it guarantees a title shot at that point. He don't fight number 1 contender. He don't fight the number 1. He just gets a title shot. You would have to at that point. That's why I say it's a high risk, high reward scenario.
So he'll skip Colby Covington, who's
He would
ranked.
have to. He would have to.
Those are some tough words.
Well, he would have to. Like the hype train speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
So he has such a high following right now. Everyone just keeps talking about him on social media. Like no one can't stop talking about this guy. If he embarrasses Gilbert Burns, like we'll just say this. So here's the scenarios. If it's a decision, win. I see him fighting Kobe. Okay, I can see it. He'll fight Kobe for a number 1 contendership, and whoever wins that will fight Usman next. But if he beats him in the first round, like he's been doing to everybody, that automatically gives you a title shot because you set an example and you set a statement in that he finished the number 2 fighter in the division in under a minute or whatever it may have been, right? That just puts him like he is just way better than some of these guys on the division. Yeah, granted, Kobe fought Usman twice. Chimaev has not. So if he would win, it would almost vault him in front of Kobe to get a title shot. It makes sense to do that. But if it goes to decision, then, like I said earlier, we'll have a situation where Kobe could fight Chimaev to get to the title shot.
Which is very rare because I don't think any of Khamzat's opponents have gone to a decision. I don't even think he's got first round yet. I don't think
so either. I think he's finished everyone in the first round. I've been hearing that.
Li Lijiang or whatever his name is, who he fought. I mean, these are no name opponents. I mean,
right?
Nothing. I don't take anything away from those opponents. I mean, but somebody like Gilbert Burns, that's a significant rise to the top of the division. And I get it. You can't deny him a title shot if that. But who's to say Usman doesn't beat Leon Edwards? I mean, it's possible. Leon Edwards has been overlooked for a long time. He's deserved this title shot for a while, And then they went to Covington, then they went to Jorge Masvidal, and Leon Edwards. Yes, he pulled out of the December fight against Jorge Masvidal, so it kind of puts him at a standstill now.
Well, that was the best decision he could have done because now look at him, he gets a title shot.
Exactly, and I think he did that strategically. I think he was smart in being like, well, why do I need to fight Jorge Masvidal? That doesn't really, I don't gain anything really from that, except a payday, where I pretty much have a guaranteed title shot against Colby Covington.
Right. No, I totally agree. He pulled out because Jorge got hurt, and they said, hey, you want to wait? Yeah, I'll wait. And Jorge gets Kobe, which he wanted that fight over Leon Edwards anyway. He would have fought either one, but Kobe more so. And look at Leon Edwards. He pulled out. Oh, I get a title shot. I don't need to fight. Sweet. And that's where we're at. But Leon Edwards has a tall task to beat Usman. Usman is a well-rounded machine. He was just a strictly wrestler in the beginning. Then he worked on his stand-up consistently. And now he is well-rounded. Like, Usman is a problem right now in that division.
He sure is.
Huge problem.
He's a scary problem, man. I mean, it's hard. He's so dominant. I mean, I'm looking at the rankings right now, and I mean, yeah, Vicente Luque is in the waiting. Leon Edwards, like he has the title shot. Bilal, remember the name Muhammad? He's in the top 5 as well. I mean, he still has
One sec. What's up, chat? Like you guys saying, what's up? What's up, guys?
Going on, everybody? Commenting. Let us know your thoughts on the Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal fight, as well as the fights that we're also going to be breaking down coming up. And yeah, so I mean, Colby Covington, he was dominant last night. Who he fights next will have to be seen. I mean, does he get a Dustin Poirier fight? It's to be said. I mean, I just think Colby Covington, he proved a lot last night. With that bad blood fight, is the rivalry over, Chris? In your opinion?
No,
Now
no shot.
you mentioned last night that there could be a rematch, right? Could be.
Rematch, 100% rematch. That bad blood is not done. Did you see them talking shit? Jorge says you're still a bitch. Even though I lost, you're still a bitch. Like, come on, man. Like, you gonna tell me that bad blood ain't boiling over? Like, Jorge's probably like, yo, you poked me in the eye in the beginning of the fight. Then you knee me in the nuts. Like, I think Jorge's gonna be like, I want to run it back. I think Kobe might want to run it back. That's a huge payday for the both of them, to be honest, to run it back.
But not immediately, right? No, they would see each
No.
other later down the line, possibly.
Correct.
I mean, I think they'll always be at the top of the division, in my mind. But I think right now, an immediate title shot, there's just too much dominance in that fight. And I don't know what Jorge could do to get better at that. I mean, Colby
No,
won.
either. But the thing is, too, to run it back for a rematch, right? You have a timeline. Jorge don't have much time left. Let's
He
be
don't.
real about ourselves. He's getting up there on age. He has a lot of fights underneath his belt. He don't have much time to have another rematch. If it's not immediate, give it a year or two, then we might see a rematch. That's if Jorge's still around. He is getting up there, man. It's tough to stay on top as long as Jorge did, and kudos to Jorge. But I don't think he'll be around much longer due to age. Not because of lack of skill or anything. It's just because of age. It happens.
So we're going to get into the Rafael dos Santos and the Renato Moicano fight. A lot of people were saying last night, Chris, that this fight was ugly, man. And a lot of
It
people
could have
thought
been fight of the night. It could have been.
it could
It
have.
was a toss up between Jorge and Covington and Dos Anjos. But to be honest, I think the Dos Anjos fight was way better than Masvidal.
I agree to you to an extent. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington, they had the fight of the night last night. They got the $50,000 bonuses. And Rafael dos Santos, did what he had to do. It was very ugly. The dude took the fight on 4 days' notice. Moicano took the fight knowing that he didn't have much time to prep. Yes, he did just recently fight back in February. So, I mean, he was active. It wasn't like, he just took this fight and he hadn't fought in
Right.
a he has been active. So, and he did have a sensational finish against Alexander Hernandez back on February 12th. But let's be real here. Rafael dos Santos did what he had to do. And I think Rafael dos Santos is what, almost getting to be 40 years old pretty soon, if not.
Yeah. I think he's like 38 or 39, I believe. I'm not sure on the age, but he is getting up there. He's been around forever, man.
He's been around
Like,
ever, and he looked like he was fucking 30 years old last night. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape for his
he was in good
age.
shape last night. He was in good shape. And kudos to Moicano to take it on short notice and last as long as he did and take him to the decision, just getting your ass kicked. Like he was, man. He was getting his ass whipped all night. And
He
he
was
stood in there. It shows that he's hungry and he has a lot of heart. Man, does that kid have heart, man? There's times where those Tigers had a chance to finish him and he couldn't finish him. It was nice, man. It was a really good fight.
and a lot of
I
people
love that fight.
a lot of people were saying like the corner should have pulled up, stop the fight, you know,
He's still in it. Why? He's still in it.
yeah. I mean, they kept checking his eye. His eye was good. I mean, like his eye
He
was.
did all the tests necessary to continue, and he passed with flying colors. And he took Dos Anjos to the finish. And we all knew, let's be real, Moicano wasn't going to win against Dos Anjos when it went to decision. Everyone knew it was unanimous that Dos Anjos won. So there's that.
So he stays, in great shape. He deserves in my opinion, a top 155 pounder in his next fight. I mean, will it be Rafael Vazal? We'll have to see. Rafael Vazal, pulled out due to COVID. So I think they should possibly, potentially run that fight back. I think that's a way for Rafael dos Santos to stay in the lightweight division. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna disagree.
You
I
disagree?
think, I think it's Dos Anjos versus Mekashev. I think that's the fight to make. They've been trying to fight each other for years. I think that's the fight to make.
So you think okay? So you think Dos Santos versus Makachev? What happens to Benil Dariush? He
Just
loses that.
wait. Just
I mean,
wait.
from what I'm hearing, right, Islam Makhachev turned that fight down against Rafael dos Santos. So it's weird because,
Really?
yeah, because,
Because they both called each other out. So it was Makachev first, then Dos Anjos' opponent backed out or from injury or whatever, and
yeah,
then he says, "Yeah, I want Makachev." Nothing happened. Then Dos Anjos got a deal the next day right away. So it's like, who's ducking who now? You both are calling each other out, and no one's signing papers. Get it together. This is your chance now. You both are not fighting nobody. Figure it out. Sign a deal and get it done. No more excuses. I think that's a fight to make. You guys keep calling each other out. I want to see Dos Anjos fight Makhachev, and then we'll go from there. Makhachev, man, he needs to fight a top opponent, man. Both of these Dagestan guys, man, they both need to fight a top contender.
I think Makhachev, that's a way to really get him. We were kind of thinking like he hasn't really fought a top contender, and that kind of, doesn't really earn a title shot, in my opinion. But if he beats a former UFC lightweight champion and Rafael dos Santos,
And dominates him, though. I want to see dominancy. Like, if you can't dominate him, like you say you dominate everybody, then we have maybe another fight. Let's say, for argument's sake, right, is that Makachev fights Dos Anjos, dominates him. If it goes to decision and we kind of don't have a clear winner, like it could have went either way, I would like to see him fight Dariush for a title fight or another contender. I just don't want to see him get a title shot right away. I need to see something.
I agree. I mean, I think depending on what happens in May between Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like UFC is going to be like, here's your title shot. Sometimes they
This
do.
will,
Fans will be pissed. Some fans will be pissed. Some fans agree that he deserves it. And, like I've said, the 11 fight or 10 fight win streak, you know, it earns you kind of a title shot, without really having to fight big names. I mean, a lot of these guys are doing it. I mean,
I
a
just
lot of
don't know how. Like, the only reason why they're getting all this push is because the hype is there. Because you don't see Sean O'Malley getting all that push when he's beating nobodies and he's on a win streak. So what is happening here? It's favoritism to the match, which I understand because the favorites bring you money. Totally get it. I know it's business. I get it. But come on, man. Sean O'Malley has a pretty big following too, but you're not giving him the push that he needs. It varies. I think it's like a seesaw thing.
somebody wrote in the comment section, I don't think he is fighting big names because it's his choice. The big names are avoiding him.
No, stop. I don't think the big no. I just don't see that. I don't see that is the I think that's an illusion where people think, "Oh, they don't want to fight him because he's doing this and doing that." There's no one's avoiding nobody. It's just I think it's more like business where they want you to feel like everyone's afraid of this guy because he do what he does and all this, gets the hype train going. Oh my god, he can generate us all this money. I think they're trying to make a new product, trying to bring someone who brings them a lot of money. So Makashev brings money because it's Russia, right? Russia has a ton of money. These guys pay, whatever, whatever. I think they're trying to build a product. They're trying to build another Kahib, another Connor, John Jones, someone who brings in a lot of money. And these Dagestani guys bring in money. So what are they doing? They're giving them a lot of push. Because same thing with, like I said earlier, Sean O'Malley has a lot of the same record or not better than half of those guys on the roster. And he's fighting the same nobodies that Makhachev and Chimaev are fighting. And guess where they're getting? Huge pushes. Sean O'Malley didn't get a push. There's a reason why he didn't get a huge huge push.
So somebody else is writing in the comment section, why would a top five fight a unranked guy? Nothing to gain. So I don't know what that is.
To shut down the hype train. To shut it down. Because, yeah, he has nothing to gain out of popularity or anything like that. What he's going to gain is a big payday. Chimaev has a lot of big following right now. So what's he going to get? A lot of moolah. So Gilbert Burns is going to get a huge payday. That's why it makes sense to fight an unranked fighter for a big payday. So if, like you said earlier in the show, if Gilbert Burns beats Chimaev, it ruins Chimaev's whole hype train. He goes almost nowhere. He has a long road to get a title shot again, or even in the question to get a title shot. But like we said, it's a high risk, high reward because Chimaev beats Gilbert Burns and smashes him. That's almost an immediate title shot, and he gets ranked right away. It's just I understand everything, and that's why a lot of people are ducking these unranked guys like Makachev. Not Makachev's not unranked, but he's fought nobody, right? Why fight someone who's fought nobody to jeopardize your career? Because God forbid you lose, that ruins your shit, your chances for a title shot, your money. It ruins a lot. So, but the thing is, if you do win, you know what I mean? Like you get a payday, you shut the critics up. He sucks. There's a lot that goes into fighting the unranked guys, and high risk, high reward, like we said. High risk, high reward.
So wait, is he talking about Hamzat Chimaev, or is he
I
talking?
believe so. I believe so. It's the Hamzat Chimaev because he's the only one that's unranked. Because Makhachev, he's ranked. So it's Chimaev.
And Dos Santos is number 6. So if that fight were to come to fruition, like you were saying, if
I think so.
Islam Makhachev is now number 3, and Rafael Dos Santos is 6. So I mean, they're still in the top of the top 10 division.
And they've been trying to fight each other for 3 years now. Why not sign the papers? You guys missed your opportunity 2 weeks ago where you guys both could have signed the papers and fought each other. And I get it's probably a commission thing. They wouldn't let Makhachev fight in a week's notice. You just got done a fight, and a week later you're fighting. I think that's like a safety issue. You just don't know. So I think that was where that's at. But you give it, like I said, like right now, you guys can sign tomorrow and say, hey, we're going to fight in July. You could do that. I can see that. I'm not going to say I can see that happen, but I can see them signing a paper saying they can fight now. That's where we're at.
I agree. I mean, to an extent, that's an interesting fight. I mean, it's a little shitty for Beneil Dariush to get, overlooked because he was dominant in his position in the division. Yes, he hurt himself to some.
But I don't think that's like overlooking him though. Like he can wait in the wings and fight for a contendership. Because if he would fight Makhachev, it's not a contendership. If he fought Makhachev.
But Beneil Dariush is on a 6-fight win streak. Rafael Dos Santos is hit or miss.
Correct. He's a win-lose kind of situation.
So technically, like, wouldn't you? There is no tougher fight, in my opinion, for Islam than Beneil Dariush. I mean, really? 6-fight, somebody's win streak is going to have to end. I agree. Now, is it a big draw? Does it make Islam a big draw? Probably not. How feel?
I think the big draw is Dos Anjos fighting Makhachev. I think that's the draw. Even though there might be different ranking systems in each other's division, but that's the fight to make. Dos Anjos is a former champ. He looked great last night. He looked incredible last night. For him to fight Makhachev, and they have like a little beef. They've been trying to fight for 3 years. I think everybody would like to see that. I think that's the moneymaker. Dariush, that could be a UFC fight night kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anjos could be a pay-per-view fight with Makhachev. That's a pay-per-view fight. I think that's where UFC would have to look at it. Is what's going to generate me the most money? Him fighting Dariush, they're both undefeated. Have a big fight win streak. As for, we'll just say a contendership or a title fight, right? We'll just say the winner of this gets a title. Fans will be interested, but not like a Dos Anjos fight you said to people on the street who are UFC fans, "Hey, he's gonna fight Dariush. You excited?" Yeah, sure. But here, he's gonna fight those Anyos who hasn't. They've been trying to fight each other for 3 years, and now it's finally gonna happen. You excited? Oh yeah, man. Oh, I'm so excited. You got Brazil fighting Russia and all this. I think that is
Yeah.
where it's exciting. That's where I go. I think those Anyos fighting Makachev is, man. I think that is the fight to make.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's not to say that that fight couldn't come to fruition. It is a very interesting fight, and it is a way for Islam to really prove himself. We'll have to see if it comes to fruition, but it's a very fight. It's a very good fight to pay attention to, and Dos Santos, even though he's almost 40 years old, he's still somebody to look at. I don't think he'll ever be champ again. The ranks are
No, I don't either. I don't see Dos Anjos ever being lightweight champ or any kind of champ in that matter ever again. His time is over with that.
but I don't think he's a gatekeeper. We kind of thought like, what's he
No.
fight? He looked phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's what the key was. Like, if he lost, then all right, you need to start. You're probably gonna be a gatekeeper now. But how he looked last night, he proved me wrong. I was like, oh wow, he looks incredible shape. He had good combos. He got people to the ground. He did everything he needed to do. He was all around perfect. I thought he did a great job last night.
So we'll have to see. I mean, it was a good fight overall. So we're gonna move
Right.
on down the card because Kevin Holland, Alex Oliveira, Kevin Holland, my man. My man. You know, it's I like this dude more and more as he fights. So he
Mhm.
made welterweight. Debut pretty much, if you would
Mhm.
say, last night against Alex Oliveira. They were both on some not having the best of luck in UFC. Alex Oliveira on a 3-fight
Yeah.
losing streak. Now, I don't know
Well,
what's
Kevin Holland had to drop weight to get to this division anyway.
yeah, and sometimes like it. So he was on a losing streak at middleweight. Yes, he was starching people at 185 at one time. He was, he does have finishes when he keeps his shit together. I think as much as I like the talking aspect when he talks shit in the octagon, I think sometimes it throws him off his game plan, man. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not to take anything away from him. He is a very good fighter, in my opinion. And he makes a clean slate, goes to welterweight, makes a clean slate. I mean, what were your thoughts on this fight, Chris?
It was a bit slow for Kevin. He started really slow. I think he was feeling it out, seeing if he likes it, how he moves. Um, I think he has a long road ahead of him in his new division. And he's in a tough division, if that.
Yeah, he is.
Um, but yeah, I think he put on a good show last night. He took care of business. He finished Oliveira in a good fashion. So yeah.
So yeah, like you said, I mean, he did come out with a slow start. I think he was kind of feeling himself, seeing what he stands against these other fighters. I think, in my opinion, now that I look at it, this is the division he belonged in the whole time. He even
You
said it.
think?
He even said it in his post-fight interview.
Yeah.
Look, I really like to eat. He was like, so I was eating. I was comfortable at 185, but at the same time wasn't having the best of success at 185. He says, so now I'm cutting weight. I don't think he's cutting too much weight to get
No.
to this weight division. But I think, yeah, he looks natural at this weight. Like he looks like he
Yeah.
could a problem. Yes, I agree. It is a tough division, Chris. It is a tough division for him.
Mm.
You know, when you have somebody, moving down in weight, yes, he could definitely stand. He could definitely be stronger than some of these guys potentially. Let's just say potentially. I mean, but So he went to the corner, after the first round. Didn't have the best success in the first round. I guess Oliveira kind of got him in that submission, but he gave the ref
Double
up.
thumbs up. I'm
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, whatever was said pretty much to him in that corner, flipped the switch, bro. Like really flipped the switch. He came out in the second round and looked like a different fighter, man. A different fighter, more composed, more patient, less hesitant, and hit Oliveira with a flurry of punches and capitalized,
Yep.
and ended the fight in the second round.
Yep.
Is very, very impressive. Yes, I do agree with what you told me earlier. It is a little early to say where he stands in the welterweight division, but who do you think he could potentially fight next? Do you think he could get in the top 10 sooner rather than later?
I don't know. Maybe another unranked fighter. See how well he does. If he does well, then we'll probably place him there somewhere in the top 10, maybe 8 or 7, depending on how it goes. Or maybe he fights a number 10 fighter or number 9 and see where it goes. I think that's where he's at. Like anywhere who's unranked or from 8 to 10 is who he should fight next and see where he's at. I think it's just way too early for him for anyone to tell where he's at in a new division. First fight in a new division, I think he shouldn't rush it. Don't fight nobody lower than 8, because if you get rocked, you might be second guessing, is this the right division for yourself? I think it's best for him to build confidence in himself in the new division that he's in. So yeah, don't rush your progress or your mental, because everything is about mental in this fight games. Everything's mental. It's not physical. It's majority of it is mental. So build yourself right.
So a few mentions of a possible fight for him. Fighters that I think would really show his, Kevin Holland's skills, but also could potentially be a problem for him in this division. Sean Brady. Philly's own Sean Brady is sitting up at number 9 in that welterweight division.
Right. I wouldn't mind him fighting Sean Brady. I think that would be a perfect fight.
Or a Michael Chiesa. These are all guys that could really launch him into that top 10. I mean, we'll see where the rankings are come Monday. They change the rankings every Monday. So we'll see if it moves up at all in the welterweight division. I mean, these are good fights for him. Yes, it's a tough division. You've got Stephen Thompson. You've got Neil Magny. You've got, like I said, Sean Brady, Michael Chiesa. These are guys that will really potentially either show, Kevin Holland's potential in this division, or make him take a significant step back as, well, wait a minute. These guys are, because, Kevin Holland's a big dude, but at the same time, like, some of these guys are no joke in the welterweight division, man. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fighters in welterweight and lightweight. I think they're like the upcoming divisions, really. Because before it was heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight.
Yeah.
Now it's more like lightweight, welterweight. They're pretty much the new up and coming classes at this point.
Yeah, I'll always love lightweight though, man. Lightweight catches my freaking attention, and
there's so many good fighters in that division right now. That division is just stacked beyond belief. You can go 1 through 10 in that division almost. That's how good that division is. It's fun to watch.
So in the last fight of the card, it ended very early.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy opened the card last night with the pay-per-view. And what did we say on Wednesday, Chris? If Greg Hardy didn't have any freaking bit of cardio, it's shown last night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all knew going into this fight he had 5 minutes. 5 minutes of gas.
That's it.
And it's just like, I don't even think 5 minutes was needed. Sergey Spivak, showed how dominant he was going to be against Greg Hardy. And in my opinion, I think Sergey Spivak could be a freaking problem in this heavyweight division. What are your thoughts, man?
I think the fight was what we expected. If Greg Hardy was laying on his back like a turtle, he was gonna get pounded, and he did. He got pounded. To say Spivak is gonna be a dangerous force in this division is way too soon, in my opinion. He looked good against someone who has no cardio and has a one-punch power. He's a one-trick pony. That's all you got is that one bomb. And if he doesn't hit it, he sucks. I'm going to see more from Spivak before I say any judgment on him. I got nothing. You fought Greg Hardy. I think he's a sad excuse of a fighter. So, yeah, that's all I got, man. I don't know. Spivak just needs to show me more so I can give a good valuation.
And I think he could do that. I mean, he's not in the rankings at all. I think he should be pushed up a little bit. There's definitely some contenders that interest me, that he could face in the heavyweight division. Man, for Greg Hardy, though, I think he's gone, bro.
I think he's going to get cut. I think exactly he's going to get cut on Monday. Like, hey, it's not for you. Go to Eagle FC.
For you. Here's the thing. That was the last fight on his contract. They ain't re-signing him, bro.
No way. How can you?
They are not
7-6.
Yeah, 7-5. I don't even know. I can't even tell. 7-5. I think he is. I'm trying to look it up, but
trash.
I mean,
not good.
Here's the crazy thing about Greg Hardy, man. Like, he came from the Dana White Contender Series, right? However, he didn't have a good start. He did have a good start, but his start diminished very quickly. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, you find yourself a former football player, right? With no freaking cardio, which makes no sense because, look, let's bring it up. I don't know much about football. I know you know more. He was a defensive end, right? So they have to have cardio. Am I right?
Well, to an extent, like, you have to think, you go hard one play and you have like a 20-second rest period to your next play. And then after 3 or 4 downs, you're sitting on the bench for 10, 15 minutes. So, like, it's a give or take kind of thing with the cardio. Because if you see the football players, man, they're gassing after a series of play. They're gassing like, like, come on, man. Like,
I just would have had more cardio, man. I really did. I mean,
he should. No, 100%. He should have more cardio than what he does. I think that's more of a shock value. It's not like he's like a Diaz, bro, who can go 10 rounds in a UFC bout. I'm not saying that, but he should have more cardio than what he does, man. You can't even go past the first round. It's 5 minutes. Through 5 minutes of fighting, but still, I understand. Should have some more of that. You're an athlete. I don't know. It's weird.
So, yeah, I mean, that was the fight card. I mean, also we had Umar Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, one of Khabib's, another Dagestanian fighter, on the card. I mean, he improves his undefeated record. I mean, he was deep down on the cards, though. Most people might have not even watched. Yeah. He was very dominant, and I would like to see him get a bigger push. However, I mean, like I said, these Dagestanians, they find a way to creep to the top of the division before we freaking know it without having any top competition. So we'll have to see. We also have, I may pronounce her name wrong, Yan Zhouzian, the Chinese chick from the strawweight division.
Yeah.
And she was fighting Marina Rodriguez. However, man, they were both that fight, I think, was overlooked, man. They were number 3 and 4, possibly the next contender to face Rose Namajunas. I mean, I think it was kind of overlooked in a way because, maybe that should have been on the pay-per-view card as well. I mean, I would have took that fight to open the pay-per-view card over a Greg Hardy and a Sergey Spivak.
Yeah, I think Spivak and Greg Hardy should have been like the card right before the main event, like the undercard. Should have been on the prelims, like right underneath. I don't believe that should have been there at Oh,
So a lot of people were saying this was a controversial decision, and they didn't think, Marina Rodriguez should have won. I think she definitely did what she had to do to win that third round. That third
right.
round was going into that third round. I think it was split, and I think she did what she had to do. It does upset Yan Zhozyan. I may be pronouncing it wrong. Some of these Chinese names are hard as shit, but uh, I mean, the, I think she deserves the next title shot at
Mhm.
strawweight against Rose Namajunas. What's your thoughts on that, real quick, Chris? Interest you?
Not really.
I mean, I love Rose Namajunas, and I love to see her face
Wait, it's strawweight? They wouldn't fight in strawweight. Rose is not even strawweight. She in
Roses.
bantamweight?
No, Rose is the
She is the strawweight, right?
she is strawweight. Yeah, the fight was the women's strawweight. Marina Rodriguez was 16-1, and Yan Zhozyan was 13-3, and the strawweight champion is Rose Namajunas right now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right.
So,
Because she fought Zhang Ling. Yeah, right. Okay.
so looking at the strikes, I mean, Marina Rodriguez, she scored 79 out of 207, which is freaking crazy. And Yan Zhozyan, I mean, she definitely outstriked her. There was Rodriguez definitely had the better of the advantage in the third round, as I would say. A lot of people were saying it was close and it was controversial, and
I
Yan
don't
should.
think so. I think like I said, I think Rodriguez beat the brakes off her. I think she won the fight convincingly. And for her to fight Rose, yeah, if she is 3, right? Is it Rodriguez 3? You said.
I think she's 3. She'll probably move into 2 after the rankings are updated on Monday or
Right,
Tuesday.
and I why not? If we're giving Chimaev and Makhachev title shots, why not give her a title shot? Why not? We're all in this together. Give her a title shot.
Now, I don't even see the last time she lost on this. I mean, she's 16-1, but she hasn't lost in what feels to be a few years. I mean, she deserves that next title shot. I mean, she's KOing. She's KOing women. I mean, it's impressive stuff, man. I mean, in my opinion, that should have deserved to be on the pay-per-view card. It was a fight that people should have been paying attention to. The women's fight, they always fight with passion. And sometimes I feel like these women fight better than the actual.
I totally agree with that. I think they fight a lot better than the guys because they have, like you said, they have something to prove, and they have a chip on their shoulder because no one gives them the respect they deserve. So what are they gonna do? They're going all in on all these fights. It's great.
And I'm down for it, yo. I love it, dude. I mean, so that's the pay-per-view card. I mean, write in the comment section, on YouTube, what your thoughts on this card was. Show us some support, like and subscribe the YouTube, and hit the bell for all notifications. Go follow TikTok. Go follow us on Combat Misfits Facebook page. Get us. Get us the notoriety we deserve, man. We grind out here. We back in action. We're back to 2 shows a week. Help us get some more publicity, and we appreciate all the support from everybody already. The next on the card is Thiago Santos versus Magomed Ankalaev, a high important light heavyweight contender fight next Saturday, my bad, at 7 p.m. The fight card goes live for the main event. I mean, we're going to be touching base on it come Wednesday at 6 p.m. Chris, any thoughts?
No, man, like Dave said, man, we have socials all over platforms out there, man. Just and follow with us, man, and we will greatly appreciate that, man. Because it's gonna go a long way, and we appreciate that.
I mean, if anybody also wants to join the stream, You know what I'm saying? We're more than welcome. You want to chime in on here, give your thoughts and reactions to these cards. You want to talk some combat fights with us? I'm down, man. I can have up to 10 people on this, you know? So, I mean, bring, you know, some intelligent conversation. But however, if you want to, you know, hop on here,
shoot us a message.
Shoot us a message. You can go to our Combat Misfits 215 Gmail, or you can do our personal Facebook pages.
Or text that number on the bottom,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back to you too.
Text our Google Voice number at 267-797-7005. You can also go follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Man, we're everywhere. You know, we're branching out, baby. So for me, Dave Miletto, and Chris Fedrick, go have a good day. Have a nice Sunday, everybody.
All right. Peace out, boys.
This is how it's gonna be. This is what you think of me. It's going down like I told you. This is how it's gonna be. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm not going anywhere. It's going down like I told you. I'll be the last man standing here. I'm gonna rock you